fatigue. This is another word that's actually gone mainstream, and I'm actually for how it's being described. Well, I'm actually for the word though because it kind of for most people they have a good idea what black fatigue is, but a lot of people are just getting a lot of backlash for. I mean, I should say white people are getting backlash for it though, but it's pretty accurate though for some of the things that's been happening. It's a good uh, dis- a definition of what's happening in the black community is black fatigue though because you can't in my opinion, so I'll give my definition, you can give your definition, MC. So when it comes to black fatigue, what I think people are talking about is, definitely the ugly parts when it comes to the black community, which is the Waffle House incidents, the airport customer service incidents, that damn statue that they put in Times Square. Like these are things that it's like it's just completely unnecessary because we we know other cultures do stuff like this. What goes viral and for the ratchetness is people from our community, so or people that are black. So that's where I think it when it comes to the whole black fatigue, but also what I think people are also missing is the victimhood mindset. The Jasmine Crockett's, the BLM folks, the son husbands, the men that told other black men to vote for Kamala because she's black. That is the black fatigue that I'm referring to, though, because I'm getting tired of people, trying to tell me like this is what you should do. Otherwise, it's XYZ or you're this animal. And it really isn't the case though. So that's my definition of black fatigue. How about yours?
It's not that far off from yours. I just posted an article that kind of, if you scroll to the bullet points at the top of the article, it kind of about the things that can make someone fatigue. And for the
Uh,
record,
it's you got to buy it.
yeah,
Can't
no,
access
no, this
it.
you no, you should be able to. I just pulled it up for free. Um, let me
Right.
just read some of the points that
Oh,
he
you're right.
start.
You're right. My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, yeah. So for the record, I get fatigued with everybody at some point, but I'm harder on us because this is who I am, right? And I've seen this more than everything else. Our problem is the people who have the loudest voices in our community are the ones who typically need to shut the hell up.
That's true.
Seriously. And that's including politics. Like some of these people just need to shut up. Felicia Rashad, who a lot of people would identify as Black America's mother. She went on Breakfast Club not too long ago and said that these women are leaving nothing to the imagination. They're way too revealing and too provocative with their clothing. And then you got people like Kiki Palmer that try to come for her and call her sedity or stuck up, right?
Yeah.
There's that. Remember, they didn't start going after Bill Cosby, and by then I'm talking about us, until he told black men to pull their pants up and start wearing belts and start conducting
Right.
yourself like gentlemen, right? And when you look at how our society has evolved, last week I said go Google image of black woman from 1950, and then do the same thing for a black woman today, and tell me what differences you see. You can do the same thing with men. The way we used to dress, the way we used to conduct ourselves, it's completely and totally changed. And you could argue that a lot of this are chickens coming home to roost, right? Because in the early 90s, where people like Uncle Luke and Too Short were starting to take off, that was the men wilding out. Well, now the women are essentially doing the same thing. And you could argue it's chickens coming home to roost, but at some point, somebody, when you try to correct it, those are the people that get shamed now. Where people should be able to express themselves and do what they want to do. No, they shouldn't. There needs to be a code of conduct in place, and there needs to be limitations and accountabilities in place as well. And that's the part that's missing, and that's why I everybody gets fatigued. But the reason why this black fatigue thing started trending was because this was actually some white folks who were saying they were tired of it, but they were trying to tie it to woke ideologies. By that, have you ever talked to somebody and they say, well, as a person of color, and then they make the point that they're trying to make? That's the type of stuff that makes people tired because when you pull that type of card and you start a sentence off like that, you're trying to flex on them and say, hey, I'm a person of color, so I have more value on this topic than you do. And that's the type of things that people get tired of.
Yeah. And I want to say, somebody just messaged something in a comment, which I don't know if I can even show it. Yeah. people who aren't black pretending they're black because of the privilege it brings, which I that's a good point. And he followed up with Kamala Harris, but
She
yeah,
never proved it.
well,
And every time somebody tried to challenge it, they got spoke for. She never ever proved it.
yeah. And so what I'm looking at with that is also people that they want to operate in the black community. They want to get black people riled up, but they don't really mess with black people. Like I said with Jasmine Crockett don't operate like that. Jasmine Crockett ain't from a, you know, Jasmine Crockett is from like a privileged life. Jasmine Crockett went to a really nice school. She's had a lot of things gifted to her, either because of who she is, or I mean, not because who she is, but well, I think because she's a black woman. I think that's may have had some help with that though. But when it comes to like the people that they use it as a weapon, I think that's probably where the black fatigue is coming from as well too.
Yeah, using blackness as a weapon to justify something stupid. Here's the hardcore truth, right? Make a list of everybody who has oppressed you, disrespected you, taken money from you, taking advantage of you. I did that once upon a time. And you know what I discovered? Most of the people who are oppressing me look just like me.
Yeah.
I had a few instances where there was somebody who was white or Asian or whatever trying to do some shady stuff to me. But generally speaking, most of the people who oppressed me or tried to hold me back looked exactly like me. And that's kind of and one of the points that was missing from that article I just posted is trauma bonding. That's a part of our culture too. You got a whole bunch of people sitting around, and the person who had the toughest life is usually the person that gets the most respect, right? Or the person who went to jail commands more respect. And it's like, what are we celebrating? Just a couple of weeks ago, we did that video with the lady who was black, but she looked like she was white, and she was dancing provocatively, and all these black women were getting
Oh,
mad
Tay
about
Barbie.
that. Yeah, and I'm like, y'all really trying to sit here and fight for this? This is what you identify as blackness? I'll give you a more recent example. Did you see the video of all the black women that went into the Lululemon store and started twerking, and that was their way of protesting Lululemon?
Yeah, I saw that too. There's actually, did you see the graduation one?
I didn't see the graduation one.
Oh, let me see if I can find it here.
But ultimately, the point I'm proving is we celebrate the wrong things, and the people who speak the loudest in our communities are the ones who need to shut up. And that's including people like Kamala Harris, Jasmine Crockett, Cory Booker. I'm iffy on him. But we need to get back to the point where we can take care of ourselves, conduct ourselves with decency, morality, and virtue, and self accountability. That's the biggest one. Because right now, there's a large section of us that feel like they're above accountability. And that is fatiguing as hell.
Yeah. Tell me your thoughts on this real quick. I can't play the music because this is a graduation.
This is a graduation, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, they turned up. Um, I don't have a problem with celebrations. I probably wouldn't do it this extreme because half of them probably got a degree that they're gonna be complaining about in 5 to 6 years. Then they can't find a job, and then they're gonna be doing something else.
There's a lot of
But
women though, we'll say that.
yeah, there's a lot of women turning up. I'm assuming this is an HBCU, and they do celebrations differently. I'm not going to knock celebrating a success. I'm never going to knock that. Now, if they were celebrating something goofy, like a Popeye's chicken sandwich or something like that, then I'd have a problem with that. But I'm not going to be as harsh on something like this.
Hey, I wanna highlight this real quick though. So that conversation, I think most white people didn't know Kamala Harris was black, regardless of like whether in politics or not. I just think white people in general who are not connected. I mean, most black people didn't think Kamala Harris was black, and so I don't know if I would say fact checked him. I just think he didn't know. And Kamala Harris still hasn't, in my opinion, Kamala Harris just hasn't proved that she's from the black community because when it came to when she first got into politics, she didn't start claiming black until she became Biden's running mate. So I know a lot of people feel some type of way about her being black though, but at the end of the day, she didn't she didn't win the first time, or she didn't win. I mean, we all have the same number of primary wins as Kamala Harris does. And so part of the reason she did not win was because she couldn't connect to the Democrats are actually shady, but she really couldn't connect to the constituents. So that's the biggest issue there. So yeah, I get what you're saying, but I think most people in general did not know that she was claiming black until it was convenient, which is kind of the whole conversation we have about black fatigue, though, because she's not from. She didn't start claiming until it was like politically, desirable for her or advantageous for her, is what is my opinion.
Black one convenient. Hey, let me ask you a question. Who has contributed more to the black community, Kamala Harris or Rachel Dolezal?
I'm going to say Rachel only because I know she was involved with the NAACP, which again, I knew something was off with Rachel when I first saw her picture. I don't understand how a lot of people did not know something was off with her. But I'll probably say Rachel because Kamala Harris was a prosecutor. She sent a lot of black men to prison. So whether you want to believe that was just or not just, if you look through those records, she did, and she sent one guy in particular. I forget his name actually escapes me, but I wish they had focused on him a little bit more though, because he had a story to tell where he was put behind bars unjustly.
Yeah. And Rachel Dolezal worked for the NAACP for years, was helping him with some of the efforts with scholarships and community awareness and such. It's an interesting question, but I know people would automatically default to Kamala because they think she's black. But one thing about us that we do not get credit for, even to our own detriment, we're probably the most accepting community. If somebody says that they're black, we'll just let them in. Nobody vets it, nobody
Well,
checks it. Or if
I think
somebody says they have good intentions, we'll just let them in too.
I think it really depends on how they're trying to get into the community though, because say like who's that dude? Talcum X.
Are you talking
Uh,
about Sean King?
yeah, Sean King. I mean, they say they say he's black, and I guess I suppose, but he's allowed to day walk in the community, and I'm still blown away because he says his dad is black or something. So I think it just depends on like what you're saying in the community to get into the community though, because that's the biggest issue. That's what a lot of people try to say, well, you gotta, you're invited to the cookout, you can hang with in the black community. And a lot of those people really, they don't really stand by what they're trying to push out there. They don't really act like they are, they just want to go against Trump or they want to go against conservatives. That's what they really care about. They don't care about black people or the plight of black people. How I know this is from the last 4 years under Biden. That was probably some of the worst years for black people. People that were, and I'm going to say this, illegal immigrants, they actually received more resources. They received resources that were taken from black community members, Chicago, New York, California. I didn't realize Atlanta had illegals down there or had as many illegals as I thought they would or think they would. So yeah, a lot of those resources went to those types of communities and not to the black community. And it blows my mind that people want to fight that though, because there's a movement to make Chicago red, which, it's always good to have dreams. But they know that the mayor there, Brandon Johnson, has been ignoring his constituents. He's only been catering to the teachers union, to the Democratic governor, and also the illegals, which I think there's also something sinister happening there, which is why he needs to keep the illegals there, keep some of the resources there, because honestly, I think they were cooking the books. And so it's convenient to say you did all this stuff for the illegals because you can't prove it.
Yeah, man, we used to be a very innovative group of people, right? It was almost like we were stronger in olden times because we didn't have much of a choice. I mean, we traffic lights, the fire extinguisher, improvement on the ironing boards, for the filament in light bulbs, so many things that we invented, blood transfusions. These are all things that were
Definitely agree on that.
invented slash invented by black folks. And it seems like we have this mental decline since then. Like there's less of a focus on the sciences and the maths and the STEM adjacent subjects. And it's more so this entertainment slash sexualized space. So And we just talked about last week how the state of Oregon just lowered their reading, math, and science scores to be more inclusive to people
Yeah.
of color. And I'm just banging my head on my desk like, why is that not more offensive to us? But
I
we are definitely, there is a decline, and it can be very tiring at times.
Yeah, and actually, it was either Oregon or Washington, but I think they removed the bar exam for people that want to be attorneys. And it's in one of those two states, and so I'm
That
like,
sounds like something both of those states would do, honestly, because they're very
yeah,
blue.
yeah. And they said, and they always use the same excuse: we're doing it for Black people, women, and LGBT. Like those are the two groups that if you want to build a pass or if you want to do some scamming, you just insert those three groups and no one's going to bat an eye. Everybody's going to think it's okay, and then you're a racist for calling it out, though. But again, it's just weird that you want to lower the standards to allow a certain group of people in there. And which is also funny that a lot of when I see these black people that go to these trials, they tend to have a white lawyer. Have you noticed that? Cassie had a white lawyer. Diddy has white lawyers. I want to say some of the folks in the Fannie Willis had white lawyers. Like it's just weird to me how a lot of these people tend to be pro-black and they end up having white lawyer. Well, I guess Cassie's not really pro-black no more, but they tend to have white lawyers in most cases, or whoish lawyer type of lawyer. But yeah, it's a weird thing. So, anything else? We got one more topic. You got one more in you? Pause, MC.
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. We are going to go to the last